I will cook for you today. I am making matzo ball soup, Jewish food, Ashkenazi. Probably should be called Middle Eastern food, but I digress. Now for the soup. The soup is a food intended to use up leftovers. Traditionally, soup sat on the back of the stove, and all food scraps, leftovers, and parings were dumped in, all during the day. I make my soup that way. I use old vegetables, things from the fridge that need to be moved along, and a few basics that I always have available, such as soup powders and, of course, salt. For today, I will be using certain basic vegetables. I almost always start with onions, carrots, cabbage. Then I add more vegetables. Any vegetables I have in the fridge to broaden the flavors. They will have to be cooked for an hour or more until the vegetables have become soft and have shared their flavor with water. Today I am adding a sweet potato, cabbage, carrots, peppers, the stems from the parsley, and who knows. As it gets softer, it'll fit in better, and I will add a little bit more water. But at this point, I'm just going to put the lid on it and get it cooking. Now the soup will cook for about an hour or so. Now I'm going to take a vegan chicken flavored soup and make a broth that I'm going to use in the matzo balls. I'm a semi-vegan, and that is to say, I add eggs to cooked food. In this case, matzo balls. Matzo balls are dumplings. They are made of matzo meal from grinding up matzos, adding eggs, fat, traditionally chicken fat, schmaltz, and enough of the broth to form into balls. And you also add salt and pepper and parsley. Today I will add a bit of carrot to the balls for color. I rarely buy matzo meal because it's much more expensive. I buy matzos in 5-pound packs, and I used a whole box of matzos that I grind up in a food processor. Anyway, you mix the ingredients together to make a sticky dough and then roll them into balls. Passover had just happened when asked to cook for a podcast for Polygon Gallery, and I had just made the Passover matzo ball soup for the family. For those who don't know, Passover is the story of the exodus of the Jews from Egypt. I'm not going to go into the whole story here, but here is a quick summary. The Jews had been slaves in Egypt for hundreds of years, and as it is said, had become as numerous as the stars. Well, no government likes to have foreigners living in their midst who do not have the same belief systems as theirs, nor the same loyalties towards the king. So the Egyptians began making life difficult for the outsiders. Moses goes to the Pharaoh and says, "Let my people go." Not wanting to lose an entire workforce of unpaid laborers, he refuses. Moses gets mad and says, "If you don't let my people go, my God will send down plagues until you do." Pharaoh again says no. God proceeds to hail down upon the Egyptians 10 plagues. Between each one, Moses again asks Pharaoh to let the people go. And it isn't until God kills the firstborn male from every Egyptian family that Pharaoh, in his sorrow, says, leave. The Jews don't get killed by God because they put the blood of a lamb on the doors of their homes and God passes over. Well, once Pharaoh says to leave, the Jews drop everything and packed up their belongings, and the women made a flatbread called matzos, as they didn't have time to let the bread rise. And then they hightailed it out of there before Pharaoh changed his mind and came after them. You probably know the rest. Pharaoh does change his mind and races after them. They double time it towards Palestine. God parts the Red Sea for the Jews and slams the sea back upon Pharaoh and his army and killing them all. The Jews wander in the desert for 40 years. God gives Moses the 10 Commandments, and we still eat matzos, the unleavened bread of our ancestors, to commemorate the Exodus from Egypt. We tell the story so our children and our children's children will know our history. And in our home, we reference the hopes that all people to be delivered from oppression. Now the broth is strained. I like to eat the drained off vegetables cold, but I have made them into a vegetable pate or added them to other things. The broth should be quite tasty. This is where you will add salt, pepper, and either a vegan chicken flavor powder or veggie flavor. We always slice up some of the carrots into ovals to add back into the final soup before serving. For those who don't know, miso is a soybean paste that's made from fermenting beans mixed with salt, and it adds body to soup. Some people who are traditionalists don't put beans in anything during Passover, but I do. Once they are all in bowls, bring the broth to a boil and then start dropping them in. Once they're all in, you cover them and simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. They'll all rise and then will sink down again. I don't usually cook them much more than 30 minutes. To serve, put a ladle or two into each bowl, add 2 or 3 balls and a slice of carrot. Serve them and eat.
Matzo ball soup. Matzo ball soup. We all want.
Put the silence on.
Soup.
Where are you sitting?
Thank you. That's good.
How much do you want, Frank? 1 or 2? Give you 2. And I'll have 2. We'll see how it came out.
Hence, how did it come out?
Mazel tov. Matzo ball tov.
Excellent.
Matzo ball tov.
Excellent. Just the way it's supposed to be.
It's a mitzvah for my mouth.